Larry, tell me about your history within the steel industry.
I love these people. When I was, well, I built the Empire State Building in a day. I did that. Yeah, I did. And no, I didn't. I worked for a company that was Casa Nostra owned. I'm not going to mention them. They'll get trolled. That would be fun. And I tried my hand in that biz when I was in school, and it didn't work out. And that's it. It's a joke what these people are doing. It's a joke. While I was in it for 30 years, I said, please. Okay, next one.
Okay, Larry, I'm going to come to pretty much the last question here now. Slight change of tone as well with this one, because I know how close to your heart, being an American, this subject is. Your connection to 9/11 has been called into question. In fact, I'm just going to leave it there. Fire away.
Well, I wish there wasn't. It's not just being an American. What these snakes have done is basically, look, my mother has Alzheimer's. These people have attacked her, right? I mean, this is what you're dealing with, folks. I've had a member of my family almost killed on September 11th in the World Trade Center, and my sister-in-law, who was working right next to it. Bottom line is, when that happened, we all have a story of where you were when you found out, okay? Or when it unfolded. And I'm not going to get into that. The thing is, I've been called in like I didn't have family in it. I was never at the site and all that. Well, I can tell you this, folks. You people that see it on screens, none of you have been to the World Trade Center, first of all, the old one. I dated a girl that ran the hotel between them and used to wake up between the towers quite a few times when we had rooms comped. So I watched them built. And years later, a family member of mine went to work in them. In fact, I think it was in June of 2001, got his office on the 26th floor of SAP Tower 2. When that unfolded, how close this was, my father, my stepmother, my brother, my sister-in-law, who wasn't then, all had breakfast on Monday morning above the first crash site. So they would have all died had it happened the day before. Monday Night Football was on that night. My father flew south. They were up on he was still consulting with the industry he was in. 6 people he consulted with were killed that next morning. They'd all been on a big hangout weekend or whatever in New York. My dad was a very serious businessman, successful as well. And some of you should try it. And my brother went the same route as my dad and is in that same industry and actually owns his own company. And at that time, he was working in a small company in the World Trade Center. And he was late that day when the first plane passed through and the debris all hit his bus because he came downtown. And bodies were all over the ground. Again, he can talk about a little bit now. He said, see, guys, the people that live this thing, man, you should try living some real shit like this sometime. And maybe I wouldn't wish that on anyone. But, so he saw it all, like everyone else did. He saw the jumpers on cell phones as they hit the ground and exploded. They weren't dead, they were alive till they hit. They were pushing each other out, some of them just to get away from the heat. It wasn't just, let's jump. All the things we know about. So I was infuriated. I was here in England when that happened. I jumped on a plane the next day. Well, as anyone knows, I've never said any such thing. As anyone knows, the airlines were all shut down in my country for 1 week. As soon as they were up and running, I went home. And I went down to the site, and I was I'm not going to go into details. I have enough, even taking pictures there, which I did do and did take, but it was a morbid thing because you had families being brought in and put on bleachers. The smell of death was beyond anything I can tell you. 3,000 dead people there, nearly. And it was unreal. And I was in and out of there for 4 months until March. The company I work for here in England were very good about it. I still have the boots I have with the numbers painted on the back because there were a lot of holes you could fall through. I was there with a family member who is works with the government. I'm going to protect my family for sure. And had a lot of access to things that you really wouldn't want to see. I saw the Deutsche Bank as it was being brought down because it was contaminated. I was there the day 9 firefighters were found in a stairwell, and I can't tell you this, well, I'm not going to say certain things, what that was like. And so, yes, I was. It affected my family and many others. You people that sit back and play around on YouTube or whatever and put your opinions out, and all that's fine. Everyone have their opinion. I have some questions on that. But as far as that, 9/11 came to my family's front door. And had it been a day before, again, I would have lost 4 members of my family. I did lose a couple friends in that because it employed a lot of people. And I found that out years ago at my 30th high school reunion. I have some friends on my page that survived 9/11 and that worked in the towers. And I saw a lot of things that were like science fiction. That's all I can say. I have a picture of me with the wreckage of the North Tower behind me, not a pile of dust, about 20 stories of wreckage, folks. And also at one point with the Merseyside Police Firearms Unit, I knew one officer here in that end, and the Merseyside Police, I represented them in probably February, it was called, of that, 2002. And when I was there when the tower, the torch lights all went up, to represent the towers. These fires burned forever. The fire's still going on. You can't imagine this thing. It's way different pictures. And I brought a bobby helmet, I don't remember what they're called, to a certain precinct, because I don't want the precinct getting trolled. American law enforcement will not tolerate your shit and will have people on you. And brought the bobby helmet and a lot of patches from the Merseyside Police to give away to officers, there, etc. That were, because this precinct got hit bad, lost some members. And I brought stuff for fire department that was very close. And this family member of mine who is with the feds, as badges, so you get a lot of access, let's put it that way, okay? And a lot of credibility when you came in. And I thought the request from the cops here was that you can sell that to raise money for the victims or however. And they said, heck with that, we're going to build a glass display case for it. And I have great memories of going around the streets, and there were a lot of police forces from around the world there at different times, giving out these big stacks of their new patches they had at that time. They were given to me. I represented them very well, and fire department people. And I also, bringing me to John Lennon, I had an amazing piece, and I'm indebted to Yoko Ono for this, because who has, unfortunately, I think she has dementia now, which we can certainly relate to in my family. People may not know that. I sold a sketch John did some years ago. I'm not going to say who it came from, and it was bought through the auctions and all that, but it was a very funny, interesting thing of like Hitler selling cigarettes on these old street vending things in New York they used to have, that John did, real quick sketch, hilarious. And that was sold by myself to raise money for the victims of September 11th. And that was done with the blessings of Bagwan Arts, which is Yoko's, the company that anything with Leonard. And yeah, I was well in there. My brother, had psychological, he's a very together person. But, like anyone, you see that kind of stuff up close and personal, and you have issues. And so he sorted them over the years. Again, it came through my family's front door. I was there. It was something I will never forget. I'm glad I was there because it was a horrific thing in history. And I did see, I wasn't there when it happened. I've never claimed to be, but it was, yes, I was there, and I volunteered, and I was in and out numerous times between September, when the planes flew, and then March. And I know because it cost me a fortune back and forth. And that's it, it came through our door. And these people are such low-life pond garbage that anything is fair game to them. And, that's something that affected not just us, many, many, many people. And these animals, it doesn't matter to them. And that's it. There's too much family involved, and they can piss off. It's not their business. It definitely was our business. So at the end of the day, we've got a fine film coming out, and that's called Capel Green, and I can't wait to get it all in the can, and there'll be nothing like it at all, ever, ever, ever in the subject. It will set the new bar, the new measure. It's upsetting people. The lie detector, the polygraph is really scaring people because they're going to be held to account. Though I don't expect ufology to hold them to account because it's weak, you see. But the public at large is what's going to see this, that know nothing of these clowns, nothing. And I look forward to it. Capel Green, folks, 2018.